All right, y'all, it is that time of month again. By that, I mean it is my time for my apartment complex's book club. This month's theme was winter. Basically chose this theme for everyone just because I knew a lot of people were going to be busy with all the holidays going on. And I wanted to make it very easy for everyone just to be able to bring like any book. Like it could literally in any way, shape, or form go with winter. The three that I chose kind of go a little bit more towards the Christmas holiday theme, but I think that they're still perfect for it. So these are my three books that I picked for this month's theme, and I will go into each of them. Also, this is our annual. We decided to do this in December, our annual cookie exchange. So I have two sets of cookies that I am bringing today. I am bringing hot chocolate cookies and Andes mint cookies. So very excited to get some cookies to come home and see what everybody else brings. So the first book I actually already did a pretty extensive review on, but it is How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Meghan Quinn. Just very brief overview. This involves Cole and Story. Cole is like, from the hometown of this very small town that is like Christmas year round, Christmas all the time. And Story would like come and visit during the Christmas time to go visit her Aunt Cindy. And she hasn't been back for quite a while, but she does come back because her Aunt Cindy has hurt her hip and needs help. So Story and her sister kind of comes back to this town to help their aunt. The aunt ends up like basically putting Story in for this like Kringle competition. Cole, who kind of has like some like deep-seated anger towards Story, there's like a whole reason why, he decides that absolutely not, she's not going to win this contest, so he enters it with the sole purpose of making sure Story doesn't win. This is very much a kind of retelling / inspiration from The Grinch. There's a lot of really great Grinch references in it. It's super funny, super hilarious. Kind of check back down my page. You'll see that I did a very full review of this book. And I think as obviously it's all over Book Talk and all over Bookstagram. It's very well worth the hype. And I'm really excited to bring this. I actually already know one person who was reading this, my friend Ashley, who will be at book club today, and I believe it's because I told her to read it. So I'll be curious to see what she thought of it when we see each other at book club today. So the next book I actually happened to find at Half Price Books like a couple months ago, and I really like this author. I've read quite a bit from her and was already going to buy it, and then it just happened to work perfectly for this month's theme, and that is the Gay Romance Holiday Collection by Kira Andrews. Now this is 4 short stories. And they all do base around the holidays. Now, it's not just Christmas. She does have a Hanukkah story in here. And I will actually say the Hanukkah one is my favorite out of this all 4 short stories in this book. In that book, we follow Lucas and Nate. Now, Lucas has recently been orphaned. His father passed away in September. He kind of held off going to college for several years, so he's in his 20s. And he is looking at basically his first holiday alone as an orphan. So he has, a college roommate who's a jock and, kind of that typical jock. Well, his roommate's mom shows up and she is a very typical Jewish mom. And she was like, absolutely not. You are not staying here. Like, there's no arguing against me. So Lucas ends up finding himself going to his college roommate's home for Christmas or for Hanukkah. And he ends up having to bunk with his college roommate's younger brother, Nate. Now, Nate is queer, he's gay, but he is not out to his family. He has kept this a very big secret from his family. He's also very into photography, which his family kind of jokes around that it's like a hobby, but he's actually a really good photographer and would love to make a career out of it. But obviously there's just a lot of, expectations of him of what he's going to do. So anyways, these two end up bunking together for the Hanukkah holiday. And sparks start flying, things start getting a little spicy between them. And the whole time it's basically, there's a lot of great moments in this book. Most specifically, it really deals with grief and mourning and that first holiday after someone you love dies and how do you handle that. We see that a lot with Lucas, where he has a lot of moments where he just kind of breaks and cries and he feels very embarrassed about it afterwards because, he's with this family he doesn't know and he's kind of getting emotional, but they are so lovely to him, so lovely, and, help him through all of this. We also have a really great moment where Nate's family basically tells him, like, honey, we've known you've been gay for a really long time. We've just been waiting for you to tell us. And Nate kind of has to like reevaluate his whole entire life of like, I've kept this thing hidden and y'all know it, but it's super sweet. I really, really loved it. The other 3 book stories in this were absolutely perfect. It's basically everything you would want in a perfect little book. So there's really 4 great stories in this. I highly recommend picking it up. All right, the last book I'm bringing, I actually briefly already talked about it on this page, but I was influenced by an individual on Instagram Juliet Reads, I highly recommend you go and follow her, but it is snowed in. Now, this is an anthology, so there's 9 romance authors who wrote 9 short stories. It all goes in here. The common theme being that they all got snowed in. I know, it's shocking. But we got some great tropes in here. So like, you know, only one bed, forced proximity, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, hate to love, second chance romances. Like basically every trope you could imagine at some point is going to be in this book. So I loved every single one of them. I thought they were all great. One specifically, one that I really, really loved was by Crea Reaton. It just kind of tickled that like Hallmark movie holiday like vibe. I don't know why. And I know that's a terrible way to explain a book, but it just definitely gave you that like Hallmark Christmas movie vibe. But you follow Gabe and Idris. Now Gabe is a soccer player. He was heading to this like cabin that he has rented out to basically spend some time with a significant other. That significant other bails at the last minute. So Gabe is basically like, fine, you know, I'll spend Christmas alone. It's going to be beautiful. It'll be fine. Idris is kind of labeled as an eccentric billionaire. His ex-wife, they've gone through kind of a nasty divorce. He was very protective of his money. Thankfully, she gets nothing, but she's kind of using their children as kind of, you know, her way to try to get money out of him. So he decides he's going to go to this cabin that he has rented at this place and, you know, kind of lay some groundwork to make it seem like he's there with someone else, basically to get back at his wife. But really, he's just looking for a really nice holiday and Christmas alone just to kind of recharge after kind of a pretty tumultuous year. Now, both of these get to the cabin place at the same time or at different times, and they get sent up to the cabin at different times. Well, like I said, it's like a Hallmark movie. So the place basically double rented this cabin to both of them. And of course, by the time it's figured out, aka when they run into each other, there's too much snow on the ground and it's no longer safe for the hotel people to come up and get one of them from the cabin. So they get snowed in together. And at first, obviously, they're very awkward around each other. They don't know how to handle things. They don't know what to do. There's only one bed. Like, what are we going to do? You're a stranger. But slowly over time, they start talking. Things heat up in other ways between them. And they kind of just really form this great connection between the two of them as time goes on. Like I said, it just kind of gives you that like Hallmark Christmas vibes. It was really, really super fun to read. But every book or every short story in this book is amazing. And I think it's perfect for this time of year. So these are my 3 books that I will be bringing today. I'm very, very excited. I already do know what the theme is for next year. I have actually gone ahead and made all the themes for the rest of 2025. So next month is going to be New Beginnings. So if anybody has any like good books to recommend that would go along with that theme, let me know, because I'm always open for more like recommendations of what to bring to book club, because obviously I continue to be the person who cannot just bring one book to book club. But let me know what you guys think of these books that I am bringing and if you have read any of them.